In the heart of West Africa, a young defiant leader has shaken the foundations of post-colonial alliances and raised alarm across Western capitals. His name is Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore, born 14 March 1988, is a Burkina military officer and politician who held power as the interim president of Burkina Faso since 2022. He took control of Burkina Faso in September 2022, ousting interim President Paul Sandaogo Damiba in a coup d'etat. At age 37, he is currently the second youngest head of states and currently the second youngest head of state in the world. In February 2023, it marked a decisive break. Traore's government ordered the expulsion of French military forces, ending a long-standing security partnership that had defined Burkina Faso's counter-insurgency operations. His message to the world was clear: the era of dependency was over.
If you want to break with these imperialist forces, it's simple. We denounce the agreement. Everything starts from there. I think the example of Chad in any case is tangible. They started by denouncing the agreements. Otherwise, if we don't denounce the agreements, just saying that.
With these words, he opened a new chapter, one that would realign Burkina Faso's foreign policy away from France and toward a new bloc of influence: Russia, Turkey, and regional neighbors under military rule. Traore floated the idea of a federation with Mali and Guinea, both governed by military juntas, a move that could create the largest military-ruled bloc in Africa. For Western powers, already wary of growing instability in the Sahel, this signaled a geopolitical challenge too big to ignore. Even more troubling to Western intelligence agencies was Traore's increasing closeness to Russia. After his rise to power, Russian flags appeared on the streets of Ouagadougou. Rumors swirled was Traore's bringing Wagner mercenaries, the Kremlin's controversial paramilitary group, to replace the French. Ghana's government accused Traore of doing just the enlisting Wagner to help in the fight against jihadists. But Traore pushed back. He said, "Our Wagner are the VDP," referring to Burkina Faso's community-based defense militia, the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland. Still, the West grew uneasy. In July 2023, Traore announced plans to reopen the Russian embassy in Ouagadougou, which has been shut since 1992, a symbolic gesture that underscored where his loyalties were shifting. Despite initial denials by January 2024 by Russian forces, including Wagner, which were reportedly deployed in Burkina Faso, it was no longer just rhetoric. The pivot was complete. The West now faces a difficult question. What happens when a resource-rich, strategically located in African nations turns away from its old allies and embraces its own path, one forged in defiance, nationalism, and non-alignment? This is not just a shift in diplomacy, it is a declaration, a nation standing tall, reclaiming its sovereignty, and refusing to be a pawn in global power games. Western powers watch with growing concern. What does it mean for their access to rare earth minerals, for their military footholds, for their influence on African governance? The global order begins to tremble when Africa redefines its identity, not as a dependent, but as a powerful player in its own right. Ibrahim Traore represents more than a military leader. To his supporters, he is a symbol of Africa's sovereignty. To his critics, he is a populist playing with fire. But to the West, he is something far more dangerous than revolutionary. His actions echo beyond borders. They inspire a continent. Because in his bravery, many see hope. Hope that Africa can rise, not as a dependent, but as a powerful force on the world stage. As the winds of change sweep across the continent, we salute President Ibrahim Traore for his unmatched bravery and unwavering commitment to his people. May his courage continue to light the way for others. May his vision remain clear, his steps firm, and his heart steadfast. Above all, may God keep him safe and protect his leadership.